celebrate together the first Sunday of Advent, it feels uncannily like the last week of the year as well. Still talking about the Lord's second coming, even as we begin our liturgical year. And I think this deserves an explanation because we're at a very different place as we begin Advent than we were as we celebrated Christ the King last week. Now, as we begin the year, we begin by looking where we will end. So that's not just a good teaching method. It's a very good teaching method to introduce the final picture and then build towards it. This is also a kind of cause that we don't think about as much in the West, but is very much at the heart of all of the great philosophical cultures. So, as we begin today by looking at Jesus' second coming, we answer the why question of the whole liturgical year. Why does the angel appear to Mary? Why is Jesus born in Bethlehem of Judea? Why does he go to Egypt? Why does he live in Nazareth? Why does he begin to preach after the wedding feast at Cana? Why is he rejected in Jerusalem and crucified? Why does he rise from the dead? Why does he begin a church community, a kingdom? And why did we crown him king last week, right? The answer to all of that is already found in this first Sunday of Advent. So often we approach everything with the how question, but religious answers are almost always the end answers, the why answers, not the what, but the what for. So, by way of example, if you read the book of Genesis, wondering how God made the world, you are going to be sorely disappointed. Either you're going to have to suspend your disbelief, or you're going to be very disappointed, because in the book of Genesis, the how answer of how God made the world was that God was kind of nervous that the world was going to sink into the abyss, so he put some columns there. And then he built the world on top of the columns, and then God started to worry that the rain was that the waters were going to all flood the earth, and so he built this sky, this dome to protect the earth from all the water. But then he realized it was going to get too dry, and so he punched some holes and made some floodgates in the dome, right? The how questions, not very useful. The why questions of Genesis, why God made us, why God made things good. In that goodness, why we find chaos and destruction and sin, like all of those questions find an answer in Genesis, not so much the how questions. And as we begin our liturgical year, maybe it would be helpful for us to ask some of those why questions. Why will Jesus come as a baby at Christmas? But also, why did God call me into the sacrament of marriage with this spouse? Why did God bless me with these children? Why? From God's perspective, with the end in mind. Then, you know what? We can figure out the hows as we go. We'll spend the whole liturgical year understanding the hows. But we're invited this week to begin with the question with which we'll end, to begin with the why.